Today I'm sitting up in the start line gantry at Bira Circuit, and I've come to show you this. That red and yellow rocket shooting past is PSC Motorsport's new Ferrari 296 Challenge. An absolutely amazing race car, the first 296 Challenge into Southeast Asia. It's going to race in Thailand Super Series. So today I want to take you for a look at this 7th generation Challenge car, the first with a V6, all the others have had a V8, the 9th if you count the Evo for the 458 and the 488 in there. This isn't going to be my usual orderly, planned out walk around, in-depth look at a car, because they're testing it, they're shaking it down, they're getting ready for Bangsaen next week. So I'm going to jump in here and there when I can and show you the details. So let's have a look around and check it out coming around one more time. We've also got a lot of other cars on track at the moment. We've got a Yaris coming there, but here it comes, lights flashing, and that is a rocket. So the guys are all out in the pit lane, they're expecting the car, here it comes. We'll try and dive in and have a look at the features of this car as and when we can. And the first thing I've got to start with this video, this car looks incredible. The aggressive aero features and details are unbelievable. If anything, this looks better than the GT3. It also has a lot of GT3 parts on it, which we'll get to in a bit. But first of all, let's just look at this. So the first thing we need to do today is go trackside and listen and look at this car. Look how amazing it looks and listen what it sounds like. With that pure V6, all that hybrid, all that eco stuff ripped out and thrown away, tuned up, more power than stock, racing exhaust, everything done to race, and listen to the sound and to look at it, because my first conclusion is it actually looks better than the GT3. Here it comes, man, and look at that. This is Ferrari's most aggressive challenge ever. So far from the early days when basically it was a road car with the safety equipment, this is a pure race machine using loads of parts of the GT3. Here it comes again. Let's just look at that going through. That is something else, and it's got a deep burble. And the first thing I've noticed watching a few laps, the sound is fantastic, but the sound changes. It's got a scream, it's got a howl, it's clearing its throat, it's got a burble, there's a lot going on. You're going to love to listen to this car. And a whole challenge race with like 20, 25 of these cars together must be incredible to watch. I haven't seen it in Thailand. We are not going to see a challenge race, but it looks absolutely amazing, and it sounds amazing as well. There's a lot of throaty Yarises and Vioses lapping as well, so that's kind of making a lot of noise on my video, but man, this is epic. I should also point out this is the first test of the car. It's a shakedown for the drivers to get used to it, teams to get used to it. Bira Circuit is way too small for cars like the Challenge anymore, so they are not going to be pushing the max out of it round here. And these are the two drivers that'll be racing it in Bangsaen. They've actually been racing a Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo for the past few years in Thailand Super Series GTM. They're super experienced. They're both fast drivers, and they will get to grips with this pretty quickly. So I'm going to let them get on with it and stand back for a minute. So the polycarbonate style engine cover is off, and we can see the engine, and the first thing you've got to say is it looks so like the 296, where the engine's pushed so down and so far forward you can hardly see anything. You can actually see more of the transmission along here. Anyway, Ferrari have upped the power Without the hybrid, it has 633 on the 296 GTB. On this car, it has 690, so it's almost 30 horsepower more. So this is a real hardcore pushed out engine, but with the hybrid, with the MGU-K and all that, it actually has 819 on the GTB road car. So a lot less power, but 140 kilos less once you strip all that hybrid stuff off. So you got a much more fun, hardcore car, which to be honest is what Ferrari would have built 20 years ago before the EU regulators threw in a ton of red tape. Torque is 740 Newton meters at 6,000 RPM, and it revs to 8,500 RPM. Now, while I've said a lot of the GT3 parts have been carried over, the F1 style DCT transmission is retained. F1 really is just what Ferrari say to make it sound cool. The sequential that the GT3 gets doesn't make it onto this car. The next thing I want to mention is the downforce, because Ferrari have made this one of the key points of this car. It's got downforce of 870 kilograms at 250 kilometers an hour, which is a whacking 18% up on the 488 Evo Challenge. And we can see the aero is really aggressive on this car. And Ferrari say that big increase in downforce has come through this really big, aggressive, in-your-face splitter, these dive plates, the aero parts here, a lot going on the front end. Then underneath there's multiple vortexes going on, and at the rear they've got this big carbon wing with these swan neck mounts which have really worked to allow the airflow to be uninterrupted and raise the downforce. We can also see with the rear wing as well these highly adjustable swan neck mounts. You can see it's got individual holes and it's got sliders, so you can change this circuit by circuit depending on the downforce you need. The end plates have also been designed for aero, and you can see the way this flicks out and comes out, and you can also see how it flips up 90 degrees here. So it is fully designed to increase the downforce in every area. And if we look at the back end, Ferrari have said they have redesigned the rear bumper. Now, I don't even think there is a rear bumper there at all. There is more mesh to suck the air out, to keep it cool, to reduce the drag. And in fact, there isn't a bumper here. Basically, we got this piece here and expands a little bit past the rain light. And then it's all mesh, and all this mesh down here straight into the stepped diffuser. And you can see that is real racing style diffuser with the step in it. We can see better here, this aero piece here, this end plate and this small scoop here, feeding the air off the rear wheel and over and up, and you can see the way the air is coming through. So let's look at the wheels, tyres and brakes, because they run on a special Pirelli P0 designed for the Ferrari Challenge, and you can see the Ferrari Challenge decal, the Scuderia Ferrari shield on the front there. The driver is just getting in, so we'll keep this fairly short. You can see on the front it's running on 280/680 ZR19s J11 wheels, and they're actually 35 millimeters wider than the stock one, which is 245. It's a slick tyre and it's out that much more, a lot bigger, a lot more traction. And on the rear, if we nip past them, bolting the driver in place, the rear has got 300/720 ZR19s and a J12 size. It's firing up, so we'll come back in a minute. So basically we need to look at these carbon ceramic brakes, which Ferrari call CCM R+. Basically Ferrari say they are reinventing the wheel, pardon the pun, of carbon ceramic brakes. They're using a new technique for making the discs that doubles the durability, and the thermal conductivity, basically the way it dissipates the heat, is tripled. So that is a huge difference. And also they are huge. They are 408 millimeters on the front and 390 millimeters on the rear. And then also we should mention the brake surface, because they use a special silicon carbide finish which improves the life of the disc and improves the coefficient of friction. So All in all, there is a big technological leap on these brake discs. So while we're talking about these discs that basically have just taken braking to another level, we need to talk about the brake ducts as well, because they're absolutely amazing. And you can see here, we've got this big intake and the duct split in there. And I apologize again, there is so much noise here. There are fans going to cool the cars and to cool the Honda. There are cars out on track out there. So we've got so much noise going on today. It's not my usual race car review, sanitized, in-depth, looking at everything. I am just rushing in between them doing things. Anyway, we've got this big duct here that I showed you, this big plastic bezel around. It's split into two, and we also have another one coming down here. So they are feeding a lot of air in. And for the rear brakes, we have got an intake here that is feeding in to the wheels as well. So the last thing we need to mention with the brakes is the ABS system. Ferrari call it the Evo Track and say it's been adapted from the 296 GTB's ABS system for race use. So basically it's a full race ABS. So while I got this fan here making my life a misery, we need to talk about cooling, because they have changed the cooling completely, because all the hybrid system has gone and it's been redesigned. And you can see these huge intakes here, and you can see the radiators down here. And basically they have taken the radiators off the GT3. This is another part that has come off the GT3. They've taken all the radiator and the cooling off the GT3, put it on this car. And we have that S-duct effect, where it feeds in and the air comes out through this vent, and they close off the front of the bottom of the car. So I just want to show you inside the cockpit, because over the decades, the challenge cars have completely changed from a road car with safety equipment to a full race machine. And you can see that is a beautiful cockpit. It actually keeps the steering wheel, kind of the F1 style steering wheel, off the 488 Evo. The main difference between the 488 Evo actually is they've taken the display bar of the rev counter off the steering wheel and put it into the display on the dashboard. In the middle, we've got a full bank of race switches, and you can see the kill switches, all the safety stuff. It's got a center harness, and the seat is pretty much straight off the GT3, although it is embossed with 296 Challenge there. It's basically the GT3 seat, and a lot of parts of this are GT3. We can see the cage, you can see all the safety stuff here. The engineer hopping in with his laptop. Man, this is an absolutely pure race cockpit. I also want to talk about a few of the details and some of the aero details I didn't mention before, because there's some beautiful details on this car. And actually we need to start right here, because that sets off any race car. You can see the bonnet pins here and all the sophistication around the lights. These double dive plates here, this big piece rising vertically. Bonnet pins here so you can lift the whole bonnet off. A very sophisticated wiper that will stay down at any speed, and you can see these struts as well inside the screen. Great big door mirrors. And I was going to mention Nong Nuch Pattaya, because they have one of the most amazing car collections in Thailand, and you should go there and see that car collection. I need to go around and make a video on that. I've been meaning to do it for years, because the cars they've got are like nothing you will see. Anyway, that's one for the future. Then we look the side, there's absolutely nothing here, and then the skirt winds out, and we've got the brake duct in there. Absolutely stunning, tiny little split door handle, big intake here, alloy fuel filler here, and you can see the way the air feeds down there, and you've got this panel across here, and it comes around, and they kind of like a flying buttress as well. And then you've got this cover which comes off with bonnet pins again, and you've got this central piece in the middle and a mesh there. So many beautiful details on this, and the way this aero piece rises up like that, almost like a Japanese Super GT car, to be honest. This car is beautifully detailed, the Ferrari badge and script on the back, of course, and then the twin exits and the prancing horse there, the rain light on it, a beautifully detailed car, the pull handle there, the air jack hole there. Man, it is absolutely amazing, and those lights look tiny, and the way they're smoked out, man, it feels like a NASCAR or something. They barely exist. An amazing car, and we can see all that carbon fiber on the rear wing and how big and how aggressive that wing is, which is basically taken straight from the GT3 car with tiny little details. But really, in the light here, it is not great to see it, but the shapes, the curves, the forms on this car are amazing. And I also should mention the two drivers here. A top Thai driver, Kun Sarawat, he's been racing in Thailand Super Series for many years, won a lot of things, and he has a long-term Malaysian co-driver as well. The guys are over there debriefing from their last session, so I'll leave them alone. But I also want to say a big thank you to Kun Sarawat for letting me come down to his test, his shakedown, get right in the way, walk around the car and show you what is going on. And in fact, I just like to look at that, brand new spare sets of wheels. They've not been on the car yet, they are brand new out of the Ferrari factory without a mark. I mentioned a big thanks to PSC Motorsport for letting me look at this car. The ethanol power there, because that is one of their big business things, is they do ethanol, although this will run on a controlled fuel in Thailand Super Series. And I also want to mention I'm making 2 videos today, mention that again, because I'm also here for the Honda-Gini, which is going through its next step of development. So look out for the next Honda-Gini video coming up in a few days, but I'm making this one first. I mean, it is hard to be here and make 2 videos about 2 cars next to each other in one day. But I had to start with this. I absolutely love the Honda-Gini to death, but I've never seen this before. We've never had a 296 challenge in Thailand before, so I needed to start with this. And I've finished now. So, as I always say with my videos, if you got this far, thanks for watching. I hope it was interesting. This was really different. Usually with race car reviews, I plan it all out, I make notes, I go through everything, research it, and then go through each section of the car, the brakes, the wheels, the engine, the transmission, the aero, the suspension, all that. But I cannot do that today because they are testing, they're getting ready for Bangsaen, and I need to nip in and out. But with this race car review, I've seen it on track, so we have a great mix. Thanks for watching again, and please subscribe if you want to see the next episode of the Huracan Super Trofeo with the Honda engine, known as the Honda-Gini by everyone now. But for now, I'm out of here. See you next time.